Hello. Hi, everyone. I see a familiar face. All right, we have people joining in. There are less people and more note takers coming in. I guess that's the Good, good to see you. How are you?
Good to see you. Very good to see you. My favorite professor.
All
I'm
right.
about I'm about halfway through my build with Google that Google's helping me with. I'll when it gets a little closer, I'll show it to you.
Absolutely. All right, Harsha, hey, good to see you. All right, we will get started and we let people in as to join in the session. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the session on of AI agents which deliver results. And I'd love to kick off. I'll be kicking off in just 1 minute. I just have one request before we get started. If I could see some of your faces, that would be great. I'm one of the professors who looks at people to get energy, and when I'm learning things, this is just one of my things. And people who have taken my courses know this about me. I have this policy of having face videos on. All right, so without further ado, I'll get started. Just gonna share my screen. All right. Can everybody see my screen?
Yep.
Yes.
All right. Awesome. Thank you. Okay. All right. So welcome to our next 30-minute session on the conversation on vertical AI agents. I am a very big proponent of vertical AI agents, not a very big proponent on agents, but and I'll speak up and I'll talk to you all about that. So just a brief intro about myself. Those who don't know me, my name is Hamza. I run a startup with the name of Traversal.ai. We build vertical AI agents for organizations. I will show you some examples of what we have built. My startup is a built-in public startup, which basically means that most of the things that I've taught over time have become a part of my ecosystem in my startup. 60% of my team that works, I mean, we have a team of 12, and 60% of the 70% actually of people who work in the company have been my student at some point. So I'm actually called now professor actually called professor in my company now, because most of them are my students from different parts of my life. So it's always great to have students returning to come and work with you and build something. I also am a adjunct professor at Stanford and also teach at UCLA. This is my QR code. If you can see my mouse hover, this is my QR code for my LinkedIn. If you want to connect, I would love to connect with you. So what I would love for you all to do is, while we get warm up and learn, you hear me talk, if you can put in information about yourself, like just your name, your city, what work you do, and fun fact about your city in the chat, that would be great. This way, I would love to just learn a little bit about you, where you're coming from, what is your background, and what is the motivation for you to join this session. All right, so agents are everywhere and they've sort of just been in the news nonstop. Every time I open my LinkedIn has a ton of people, just saying AI agents. I used to work at Google, so if anyone is a Googler here, you might know the Google joke that you can't spell Pichai without AI. So we used to have that joke, and so agents are just everywhere, and we've been hearing insanely about them, from all the top leaders of the world. Everyone is saying about that, and then whatever happens after that is that there are a ton of memes that follow. So this one is an understanding that AI agents are everywhere and they are here to stay, in the sense that we are seeing a magnitude of change in how they are being implemented, and how we see them across the board. But I think the most important question is that no two people are able to come to a definition that sort of makes sense. everyone is like, oh, AI agents are this autonomous thing that can autonomously workflow, autonomously something. And then we have a lot of different definitions around there. So I want to demystify these for you. I want to start with the most basic ones for you, most basic definition, and then I want to go on further explaining my version. So the complicated example that I have over here, or complicated definition is, an agent is an artificial intelligence, or artificial intelligence agent is a software program that can interact with its environment, collect data, and use the data to perform self-determined tasks to meet predetermined goals. Now, this is something, which is a good example, but it doesn't give you much because it's just a lot of words and you're like, I don't know what you mean. So what I did is that I wanted to explain you something, explain like I'm 5, right? And what I have an example over here is, let's say you write a post, you want to write an email. Right now we use ChatGPT. We say, hey, ChatGPT, can you please write this, this email for me? It should have these things for me. And then once the email is written for you, what it does is that you copy paste that email and then you send that email directly to your manager or your team or someone. So that's how we use ChatGPT these days. Or that's one of the most overly known use case of ChatGPT is where we have a prompt, we have an output, we take that output, we put it onto an email and send it out. This is, let's just call it a level 1 agent, where we are basically using a copy-paste architecture to get an answer. Now it gets more interesting. So if you are a developer and you're like, hey, I write some kind of code. So what developers do is that if they use Cursor or they use Claude or they use ChatGPT, what we do is that we write a prompt and say, hey, I would like you to give me that exact code. And once that code is generated for you, we then put it into a Python compiler, such as VS Code or something. This is what most developers are doing these days, is that they're generating some form of code through an LLM, and they copy paste that code or they insert that code into the compiler and they execute that code. Now, if you're someone like me who's extremely lazy, right? And I'm the kind of person who would like to automate as many things as possible. So for me, what's the best way of moving forward? I would like to write a prompt. The prompt should be able to use an AI to generate a bunch of code for me. And that bunch of code should be executed on its own. When I say executed, it should just run all on its own. I don't need to copy paste, look at the logs, or check out what's working and what's not working. I should be able to get all the answers in one go. That is what, my friends, is an agent is. So agent is an LLM connected to various tools that allow you to do the function that you would have done yourself. So the LLM agents, what they do is that they have an LLM in the middle that is connected to them. Let's say you're a data scientist or a data analyst, and you have been asked to make a report about, a certain report or certain things. What your job is that you're going to compile a bunch of code. You're going to execute all of that code, and then you're going to create a report out of that. And then, you're going to send it out. The LLM agent, what it does is that you don't even have to write code anymore. What you can do is you can write a prompt. And when you write a prompt, it is able to generate all the code that you're looking for. Once that code is generated for you, the Python compiler, the VS Code or something, it generates that code for you. It runs that. And that's what makes you something what we call the data scientist, the AI data scientist now, which is now you have the sexiest job of the century. So earlier, 14 years ago, 10 years ago, data scientist was the sexiest job. Now, AI data scientist has now become the sexiest job of the century, because what you're doing is that you're essentially not writing code. You are using prompt technology to sort of generate code for you as you go, and sort of gives you it executes on your behalf. Now, if you were to go a little deeper and ask this question, why do I need to use Gen AI? So most of us have an example of generative AI in our heads, which is, hey, I'm going to use ChatGPT. There's something called MCP. There's something called, A2A. There is Crew AI. So you might have heard of these things. And you might have heard of AI SDRs, which are, sales development reps who basically do all these things for you. They find customers for you, or they reach out to customers on your behalf. So what is Gen AI doing for you? It is doing productivity gains. What it does is that it gives you the ability to do more things in less time. And I'll give you an example. So don't worry if I sound very confusing about, oh, what does productivity mean? But I'll give you a few good examples as we go forward in the next 5 minutes. But the idea is that what is the first benefit? What is the very first benefit of using Gen AI? The very first benefit of using Gen AI is that we have productivity gains. The productivity gains is that we are able to accomplish, or we are able to do something that we would not have been able to do otherwise, right? So that's the idea behind using Gen AI. Now, I can explain a little more of this, but let me explain you how I use Gen AI. And I'm going to skip a couple of slides, right? So how do I use Gen AI? And this is where you are like, hey, I might be a developer, I might be a PM. How can I use Gen AI in today's world? So the first thing I'm going to show you is I run a startup. And this is my inbox, you all can see. I run a startup. How do I run my startup? One is being in the Bay Area, you can raise a ton of money. But that is money that you've taken from VCs that you have to return. The second way is actually land customers. So we looked into a lot of companies that we thought could get us customers, or identify who our best customer base is, which we call ICP, ideal customer profile. We give them ideal customer profile. They use Lemlist or LinkedIn Sales Navigator and try to find us something, about that. Now that's a great use case, but the thing is that we were paying them a lot of money, and it was not really doing any benefit to us. We were not landing any customers that we thought were great. So we did an internal hackathon in the company, and we said, what if we could build our own sales prospect agent that finds me the right customer who will be willing to use my product? So what we did is that I'll show you the email that I get every morning. This is an actual company. There's a company called super.com. You can look them up over here, I think. There's a company called super.com, and this is their website. So I get a daily email about 20 prospects, which says, this is the tech stack that they're using currently. This is the industry they belong to. This is the data need for their company. So we build data science agents for us. It's great to offer, great to see what products that we can offer them. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit if this helps. But what are the data needs? And why our AI agents, which we are building, can be used for them? What is the recommended pitch? What are the recommended talking points? And how do we go from, what are the next steps for my team to follow? Now, this is something that we built ourselves. And I can show you, so some of you might know what is N8N. N8N is a great tool that we have sort of hacked into, and we built our own versatile applications within that. But the N8N tool is a no-code tool, which basically I run this workflow every single day. I basically run this workflow every single day. I'll show you an example. Let's just say I put one over here. And if I run this, I will get an email in my inbox right now about a new prospect. So we started working with, we work with a lot of code, but we also started identifying no-code solutions that could be used to build something which will do the benefit for us. So if you see, and I'll just refresh this, I just got a new prospect in my inbox. And how we are working on this is that we are looking on the internet for people who are listing job opportunities for roles of people that would work in that area. So we are looking for companies that are hiring data scientists. We're looking for people who are hiring data engineers or data analysts. And we do research on them. We build AI agents that do research on them. And we basically use that research to get information in our inbox daily for free. And that's the idea. That is the idea of vertical AI agents. What vertical AI agents do for you is basically we build something which is very simple. We identify vertical agents which do one job. So over here, my sales prospect is only working on one job. One thing, its job is to find me the most relevant customers that I'm looking for. And has been the biggest driver for us to build something really good. And this is actually this is a huge ROI because it takes us 2 cents per email, maybe 2 cents per email to generate this output, or less, maybe like less than 2 cents. It's just the number of tokens that are needed. But imagine for 2 cents, we're able to generate something, get it in our inbox, which is real and which can be built out very fast, and we're able to use them to derive value for our own company. So at the end of the day, you might hear a lot of noise signals about a lot of things, and I'm just gonna try to cover some of that right here. There's a lot of noise about a lot of tools. There is a tool called Manus AI. Some of you might have heard of a tool called Manus that came out recently. It's supposed to be the god of all things. It has everything possible in it, like that is humanly possible that can be used in it. All right. This is what's called Manus AI. This has, so many different things attached to it. Within 1 day of launching the product, somebody found out that it was just a wrapper. It was a wrapper which was built on so many different tools all put together in one. So this is basically what they did is that they took Claude, they built 29 tools, and they used those tools. When I say tools, they built similar tools like these. And all they did is that they connected that to an LLM and built a wrapper on top of it. When I say a wrapper, they built a UX on top of it. Of course, they've done more than that, but they use these things to sort of just so they use these things to sort of just build out a very basic application that does a lot of things, but there is no more to it because 5 days later, it was identified how to build it. And on the 6th day, if you believe it or not, somebody was able to build an open source version of this very tool. So imagine you build a company, you raise millions of dollars, and the road to entry is so low that in 6 days, somebody is able to build an open source version of that very exact same thing. So those are the things that gives us the idea that there's a lot more that meets the eye in how these tools are built. Now I'll touch base on one more topic, which is called vibe coding. And a lot of you might have heard of, vibe coding, that, oh my God, vibe coding is the coolest thing. And, this is an example of a tool right now called Lovable, in which you can write just about every single thing on earth. It can generate everything for you. It can generate an entire website for you, right? That's the tool called Lovable. There are a lot of people who are attached to it. A lot of PMs like to work on this. But the problem is, and like once you have built this, you feel like, okay, you know what? I'm so happy. I don't have to build anything smarter than this. I don't need engineers. We don't need engineers because we have a tool which is so amazing that we don't even need to think. We can have just 2 developers previously as opposed to having 50 developers because Lovable is such an amazing tool that does everything for us, right? But the reality is very different because with great power, you end up building Horcrux. That's just are mayhem. And the technical debt that you see that is generated from vibe coding is insane. Because things kept getting built. Things keep getting, you keep seeing things everywhere. And people are like, I just made this amazing tool using, in 20 minutes, I did a vibe coding and created something. I promise you, those people have never put things into production. Because when you have to put things into production, there's security protocols. There's one vulnerability test. There's so many different things that have to be checked, which we don't know are checked or not inside the system. So this is what makes vibe coding a very, very dangerous term. So how do you go by that? How do you fix that? And how do you actually start working on things that are better for you? You build vertical agents. And that's the definition which I gave earlier, that instead of building broad generalist agent, we focus on vertical agents that do one job, and they do that one job so good that you don't have to worry about how they're performing. For a fact that they will, like, even if they make a mistake, that it's not a huge mistake. And that's the example that I have for you all is every day I get 20 of these emails in my inbox, which are good prospects for me. I don't have to lift a finger. In fact, like, I just have to hit enter on one of my workflows. I can even automate this workflow so it runs every day, 9 a.m. in the morning. And it is able to generate all these prospects for me. This is what we are actually going after now. This is a pipeline. If you're a startup founder, I promise you, this is a huge starting point. Because yes, if you have raised a ton of money, your VC will help you get warm introductions. But this is the value that you create by yourself. This is the value that you're going for. And that's where you're starting to automate and save time. Similarly, I'll give you another simple example. Let's say so I'll give you an example. I have a very active LinkedIn post schedule. Like, I post almost, this is my LinkedIn, I post almost every day, or at least I do 20 posts a month. It takes me almost 1 hour. So I spend about 20 hours a month only writing posts or only trying to find LinkedIn posts. Now, here's the interesting part. I've now even automated that. So what is happening over here is that I have identified different sources, different RSS feeds where good articles are posted about technology and AI. What this tool is doing, of course, we've built a few of our own agents into this, but what it's doing for me is that it sends me an email. Hey, this is the LinkedIn posts. All right. And I have the option to respond. So if I respond and I say, this is too generic for me, can you make it a little witty and sound smarter? What it will do is that it will send me an inbox in my email again. It takes a couple of minutes to come through, but what it will do is that it will read my request. It will resend me an email that has my LinkedIn post, that has a new LinkedIn post. And if I respond, okay, I like this, it has the capability to go on and post on my LinkedIn automatically. So I reduced something which used to take me 20 hours or 1 hour per post to literally 1 to 2 minutes. So my time that took 20 hours to do something have come down to literally 20 minutes in the entire month. Of course, AI agents do not do a great job. They're not the best at the job they do. But it is doing a huge lift for me because it is able to identify the themes and the topics that I would like to cover. Last example of a vertical agent, that I personally use is that I also do a lot of Medium post. Like, I have to post a lot on Medium. So I even built a research agent that looks different topics and writes a blog post for me. And once the blog post is written for me, it will push that blog post on my Notion document, on my Notion. And it will then send me an email that says, hey, your automated email is ready for you, or your article is ready for you. Please review it. And then I can post it wherever I want. Right. So I just want you all to take it all in, that what does it mean to build AI agents? We build AI agents, or I personally use AI agents that do one job. So here, even if it fails for me, let's say, even if it does not do a great job for me, my system is not breaking. That's something that you need to follow as you build your understanding of agents and, vertical agents, horizontal agents all over the world system. We need to understand what is behind them so that if they fail, they do not fail dramatically. So to the fact that we are like, oh my God, my world is falling apart. So this will take a little bit of time, so we'll come back to this. The last thing I want to show you is what we do as an organization. So we build AI data science agents, and this is a very simple example of what we have built. Is that, let's say you're a data scientist, you're a data analyst, and you don't want to write code. So you can pass your own open text queries, and not only this will generate code for you, this will generate prompts, this will generate the entire code for you, and then it will execute the code for you in live. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to lift a finger yourself. It will do everything for you. And when you look at this code, you're like, okay, I don't think I like the second chart. And you're like, maybe what I can do is I can just delete the second chart. You can edit the code in real time. And the code is able to be, you edit the code and then a new code is compiled for you. Now, before you go and say, oh, this is just a wrapper over ChatGPT, this is not a wrapper. This is an agent that we have built from scratch that may look like what ChatGPT does, but then we have a whole factory of tools that agents that run behind the scenes to build forecasting, very complicated forecasting and tools. So if I have this product to sell, and there are a ton of companies who could use data analysts, who could use data scientists without having them to write code or without having to hire them, what we do is that we go to these companies, we say, okay, this is a company, DNC, Democratic National Committee. They're looking for someone with this is their current tech stack. Why our agents would play a great role in getting the things that they need, because we can run and process and handle complex queries for them while running locally. So we can even deploy our tool. You can deploy our tool in real world. What I mean by real world is you can deploy this tool in your own ecosystem. So we use vertical agents. So me as a founder and as a person who teaches these things, I have taken it on myself that I'm not going to continue just teaching so that you guys can go and build some demos. We're going to build some ideology on what are some of the great use cases that we should work on. So I'll end with the term is that this is the course which I teach. This is a pitch that we all have to give. This is the course which I teach, and this course itself is just focused on this thing. We want you to build agents that will do a particular job for you. If they fail, they are not going to break your system. They are not going to create problems for you. They're just going to exist for you. You're going to build them using no code or some code solutions. But the idea is that how can you build these tools that deliver the jobs for you? Because I'm able to save close to 50 hours in a month for myself by building automated agents. And those are the things which I now teach to people is like, hey, I have learned all of these things myself. I want to take them further. And I would like for you to learn about them. So this is the article, just want to show you, this is the article that is automatically generated for me. there's a V2 coming up where I will also get all the sources and images and everything in it. But that's what I'm hoping that the knowledge that we want to bring in is that I don't want to teach something like, this is an agent, this is an example of an agent, go build something yourself. What we want to do is different, is that we want to give you a hands-on experience. Hey, we understand you don't know agents, but we can work with you to identify what kind of use cases you're looking to solve. And if you want to know about these things and how they work and what is the ideology behind them, we can work and build them. All right, so I'm going to stop here. I've been speaking nonstop over here. I would love to help answer any questions that you guys have about the course, about the agents, what I've built, any of these things, about what I do. And we can discuss. We'll go with one question a person. Harsha? Let's start with you.
Yes. So in building these agents, and you're expecting certain output, is your way of evaluating these agentic workflows different from what we traditionally think of evaluations of agents? So since you've built out an article generator, you want that article to reflect your brand, your thinking, and these things. So how do you do that kind of evaluation in this workflow?
So we put LLM as a judge in the middle. So the thing is that I can so here's something, I'll give you an example. I can actually put my writing style in that tool and say, and then it evaluates, is the writing style that was generated matching up to what the person is looking for.
So these are like agent instructions or system prompts that you write so that it works the way you want it to work.
Yes. So we put LLM as an agent, and I showed you, right? We also have the option of action required. So this is a human in the loop. You get an article, you're like, dude, I don't like this. Please rewrite this for me. It will rewrite and then send it back to you. So this is a little different. So a lot of previous things I use, did my agent run or not? This is actually working on, is the agent able to come to you with the response? And we have human in the loop for almost everything. So you can use a human in the loop to actually evaluate and then put that prompt in the LLM agent sequence to make sure that it's answered correctly. All right. Other questions? You guys can put your hand up or something so I can help answer questions.
Yeah, Hamza.
Go ahead, Peter. Let's start.
I thought you work a lot with N8N. I think it's a tool that has a pretty steep learning curve.
Yep.
How fast are you able to take people through N8N in your training?
24 hours. I picked up N8N for the first time 4 days ago.
Okay.
Right. In 4 days, I've been able, like, I'm pretty technical, but this is not a technical course to be. So what we do is that we start with templates. We give templates to people and say, don't build something from scratch, start working on the templates. And then you work backwards.
Cool.
Right. Chilian?
Hi. Yeah. Sorry. A little bit inconvenient today to show myself on video, but yeah, here's a question for you because I'm in MarTech and I saw in your applications you have access to third-party data. Could you explain maybe some of the challenges in incorporating like third-party? Because I mean, there's like privacy issues or things like that. So, like, and for me, of course, I want to build an agent I could use, but then in the process will solve some of these third parties. So I'd love to hear how do you get around that?
Yeah. So yeah, I think these are very, very, very good questions. The best thing about N8N is that literally N8N is running on my local machine. It's not connected to anything except for OpenAI. And then I can also deploy Ollama. So that will work just automatically outside, like inside our ecosystem. That's one part. The third party is that, let's say you have a rack system or you have something that you have deployed somewhere else. You can build a fast API endpoint, which is built on a secured pipeline. So you're not deploying your system in a way that, hey, it's being exposed anywhere. And that's the great thing about the guardrail ecosystem. You can run these tools locally in your ecosystem. You're not calling anything from the outside. If that helps. Does that help answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
All right. Danish?
Hamza, thank you for this very detailed insight. I'm grateful for all the sharings that you're doing. One question, joining your cohort, will we be able to run N8N locally with the templates that you have been showing or something similar end to end without in the cohort?
Yeah, of course. That's literally the idea. That is the only reason I'm showing you. Like, I'm not going to show you something like the idea is to show you something that I am teaching in the course and you can start using them today.
That's awesome.
All right. Dan?
Hey, thank you so much for this. It looks very good. I've played with N8N for a couple of days and left it because it was pretty technical compared to other tools. What I'm wondering about is, will you be sharing all of the different templates that you've shown us today, as well as others, so that we can start using those and then learn how to customize them and adapt them as sort of the basis for learning? I think that would be a way that I'd be able to bridge and get into the kind of things that you're doing pretty quickly.
So that's the idea, Dan. I'm not going to tell you to go build from scratch. I'm going to give you something, and I'm going to give you a very larger, a very explainable, hopefully explainable architecture. So you don't have to do anything other than put your URL or login details. And then you work backwards over here. And I will just say one more thing, one last thing is, this is not the only thing we'll give you. The idea is to get you warmed up on these things. So we will definitely, first question, yes, you will get access to all these templates, and we'll give you different use cases to work on. So by the time, by the 5th week, when you have mastered all the templates, you can start building your own versions.
That sounds perfect. That's an easy way to learn, and I've done things like that before in complex areas. So it sounds very good. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm just giving you an example. My LinkedIn post now, my blogs, the sales prospecting that we are doing, we're literally running individual startups through our own tools. Of course, there are more tools that we have built. Kurt over here has known me for 2 years now. I'm a very technical person. I teach very technical courses, but for every developer, there are 100 non-technical founders who want to get into this field, but they're struggling. I want to bridge that gap and get everybody in. All right, Kelly?
Hi, thank you for all the information today. It's been great. With your course, I've been playing around with N8N and really just building stuff not self-hosted. And it sounds like you get into self-hosting a little bit within your course. I'm also wondering, do you talk at all about how to, share agents with like a client, or like how you can kind of start to monetize that?
We are trying to monetize ourselves. So I think the idea is, let's get you started on local hosting. Maybe, I think they're not that expensive. They give you some really good tools. If you stay on the cloud, they have HTTPS versus HTTP. So if you like building a WhatsApp agent, it is recommended to stay on their platform. Otherwise, you will have to do some kind of more manual work in engineering the workflows. I'm not going to get into the details of that. But the way we are trying to monetize is that, listen, we're getting these prospects, right? I can now wrap this into whatever I need and send it to my customers. So my customers don't have to see how the sausage is made. Only my customers have to see how I wrap it up. So I can send stuff to my Notion document. I can send stuff to my Google Sheets. I can send stuff to Airtables. I can send it wherever I want. So they don't have to see, if that helps answer your question. Kelly?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, to me, I guess, it's more like, are you providing a button, or are you inputting their information so that they're getting the email flows? Or like, I think that's kind of more where I'm toes in the water right now, trying to figure it out.
So I'm providing with you the ability to run this locally. That's number one. And be able to see what are the different ways of monetization of this. So we will give you the tools to move it forward. Right? I don't know what your particular use case is, but my idea is to build Lego blocks. You get to choose your adventure on them. Right? That's what I'm trying to say. Right? And if you have a question like you're like, hey Hamza, I want this exact thing, we can explore it together and find solutions to that particular thing. All right, Kelly, I hope that answers. Right. Okay, Rish.
Hey, well, first, like, thanks for sharing everything. I think the n8n workflows were like really, really impressive. So I have a question because I don't know, like I don't know if anyone's aware, like there's this hackathon with Bolt.new that's like lovable, right? So my intent is to build something called Bolt.new and use n8n at the back to connect it. So I don't have much experience with n8n at all. I mean, if at all, like I only watched videos and stuff, but with Bolt, I have fair good experience. But I'm curious if you'd probably walk people through, how to wrap it, or is this more focused on workflows, which is also equally valuable, but yeah, probably a different use case.
So that's a great question. What I want to do is that I'm not a big believer in vibe coding everything. So there are two different things. There's vibe coding and then agentic automations, right? What I will connect with or trying to connect is n8n outputs to vibe coding. But I promise you there will be a point where vibe coding will fail. So my focus is to get you vertical agents up and running, whatever way that requires. The second part is we'll try to explore how vibe coding works and can we connect the vibe code architectures that we build to our n8n endpoints. Does that answer your question, Rish?
Got it. Yeah, that's very helpful. And you're right. Like there are a lot of issues with securities and so much bugs, and people's like the database is like open to like people who can hack in.
Yeah.
So I get it. Yeah, makes sense. But yeah, thanks. That answers my question. Yes.
All right. I absolutely like my idea is to make sure that everybody's on the same page about what can be achieved. I'm not a big seller of vibe coding. Listen, I write code every single day. I've seen what vibe coding can bring in, and we all know about it. We just don't talk about it because a lot of people are using it. When it goes to the depths of things, we see the problem of these things.
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree on that actually. Yeah.
All right. Go ahead, Dan.
Okay, so one of the main areas that I work in right now is building RAGs and AI agents that deal with them in specific areas and applications. Will the n8n templates and your assistance allow us to focus on RAG applications?
Kurt, I want you to answer that question.
So first of all, Hamza, I was completing the rest of the sign up for the course, so I'm in. Hamza said earlier, I've been working with Hamza now for 2 years, and a lot of the stuff goes into very deep detail back when you had to do it that way. Anyhow, your question was on connecting to RAG databases. Dan, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm building RAGs and building agents that, for specialized applications that deal with individual RAGs. Yeah.
I'm 100% sure Hamza will cover that. That's been a core tenet of everything that he's been teaching for the last 2 years.
Okay, perfect. That's a great answer.
And just to give you guys a good idea, we have launched we have our own agentic AI service. So what you can do is you can this is called Traversal Pro. You can upload your documents over here and you get an API endpoint, which you can connect in n8n. So you never have to do any RAG yourself. everything is connected now.
Okay, that makes sense, but I'm right now working on Supabase as a backend.
Yeah.
So that the clients wind up, with control over it.
So yeah, and again, N8N has Supabase connectivity too. I mean, the idea is that I'm not teaching a N8N course. I'm just using N8N as a tool to teach you something.
Yeah, but we're the ones who will wind up having to get to be good at with N8N.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I don't have any hesitation. It's just how to get there quickly.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay. Harsha?
My second question, I hope you don't mind. Is there a way to vibe flow the N8N flow itself, like the whole workflow? So like I put some text in it and saying, this is what I want to do. And then it says, this is the, this is how you should go about building the N8N workflow.
Yeah. So the why I'm laughing because it just shows where the human world is moving.
Yeah, I'm trying to be smart lazy here.
Yeah. So I think, Harsha, I'll tell you this. We actually found out that the Claude has a better vibe code for N8N than N8N cloud version itself.
Oh.
So N8N has an AI version that is supposed to be really good, and you can vibe code your way through it. But the fun part is that we actually found that if you use Claude can do a much better job. Claude can do a much better job in actually generating different responses, different vibe coding. And then you can, the fun part is this is all a JSON output. It generates a JSON output for you. You copy that and you paste it in N8N. It becomes a whole workflow.
Oh, so that is smart lazy. Right.
Yeah. Right. So Amarnath, your question is, does locally hosted N8N has the same functionality than the cloud? Amarnath, the only thing is HTTP versus HTTPS. What that means is that you have to build a tunnel, an nROC tunnel. Otherwise, if you know nROC, then you might know what I'm talking about. You basically have to build a secure protocol for some connections. Other than that, it's all the same.
So it does support all the connections what the cloud one would support, right?
Yeah. It supports everything. You just have to have the protocol should be, the callback URL should be HTTPS.
Okay, so for that you need to deploy yourself the ngrok, something like that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. Hashim, your question is, what's the rationale on naming as vertical agents? See, the idea about vertical agents that I've been trying to say is that vertical agents does one thing for you, and less is more over here. That's the focus that I want to identify, is that with less capability of doing things, it has the higher potential of delivering what you want, versus having an agent that can do every single thing. Like it will make presentations for you, it will do this for you, it will do that for you. That is something what I'm trying to stay away from, because then, master of one and or jack of all trade, master of none is what we end up seeing even in agents. Hashim, I hope that answers your question. Any other questions that I can help answer? I'm here for the next 5-10 minutes. Danish, go ahead.
Yes, for this cohort, I know N8N will be locally deployed, and you touched upon installing Ollama locally. However, you also mentioned OpenAI connectivity. So will your participant need to have an access or readily available access to any of those large LLM providers, ChatGPT or Claude alike?
But OpenAI is not that expensive. It's okay to have it.
I'm just want to make sure like people have to have readily available signups for those API access.
I would suggest that having an OpenAI key, and if you have not signed up, we'll tell you how to do it. It's very simple, but I think having one would be easier. It will get things done faster and less predictability of hallucination. Does that help answer your question, Danish?
Yes, indeed. I just want to confirm that we need that, and we are not installing Ollama.
You can install Ollama too. Like I would recommend to install Ollama, but the problem is that not everybody here will be able to install Ollama itself. So I can show how to do it, but I think most people, 90% of the people over here would be like, hey, if I have an OpenAI key or an Open Router key, I would just want to use that. I don't want to get into the to the nitty-gritty details, but we will also teach that how to install Ollama in your ecosystem. All right, Yan?
Yeah, thank you for showing us possibilities. So your quick question on your course, in terms of the use case, because everything you show us is focused on AI workflow, like a deterministic flow, step 1, step 2, step 3. Will your course also cover like multi-agent, where you tell it a goal, you give it a tool, and you let them decide how they want to talk to each other? Would you also cover that type of workflow?
So that is our crown jewel. This is what we do in our company. This is what we call Agent Pro. Can you see my screen, Yan?
Yes.
So this is our actual agent workflow where you can connect to different custom tools that you will build yourself. So I'll give you a very specific example over here. This is what we call a React agent. So the React agent, what it does is that it is able to interact. You give it an open-ended thought process. You say, hey, you have access to a bunch of tools over here. You have code interpreter, you have internet search, you have RAG tools, you have a bunch of other things. I would like you to take my query, think through the process, reason through it. I want you to reason through it. And then once you have reasoned, come back to me with an answer that will match up. That is the product that is the React-based framework which we have. So see, the reason is that there's so many people on a spectrum with so many different requirements. So I mean, if you ask me what is my core business, this is my core business of building Agent Pro architecture to build data science agents that do this for you. However, we are seeing that there is a lot of demand for no-code solutions. So we got into it and we started learning and we started showing that. So the thing with most instructors is that they work in, great companies, they work in great companies where they're not building these tools. They're just teaching them. My idea is that I'm going to teach you what I've built for my company, what I use in my company, and all the tools that we use on a daily basis internally because we dog food our own stuff. That gives you the idea of that, like if something's not working, we can fix it and we know why it's not working. So does anybody know what Lemlist is? Anyone who's worked with Lemlist? So Lemlist is this really good tool for identifying people in organizations. So we found out we were able to prospect companies where we were taking too much time to find the right people. So we connected Lemlist to our N8N, and it now says company and the people you should connect to. Right, that's a startup right there for you. All right.
Thank you. You will cover that in your course as well.
Yes, yeah. So I basically have two courses, in full transparency. I have this course, which is the more foundation course. And this course basically goes into, the more works of N8N. But then if you Kurt is over here, he's taking this course also. This is my all coding tool. Like this is a no-brainer extreme coding tool, in which what you do is that if you know how to build tools yourself, or you're good with coding and you want to get into building actual nitty-gritty multi-agent architectures yourself, this is where the code, and what we do is that whatever we build in our company, we put it over here so that, we can build with you. So this starts with agentic, agents as the first, and not no code, but actually a ton of code. Right. So this audience might be, I think the most audience that I talk to are, have fewer developers and more non-technical folks. So that's the focus has been to show you guys this one. All right. If you're interested, please reach out. I can share details about this course too. All right. Okay. Any last couple of questions that I can help answer? All right. Well, if there are no other questions, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Hey, one last question.
Go ahead.
So in that the previous this one you said that's also part of that's basically agent to agent multi-agent course, right?
Sorry, what?
That's an agent to agent or multi-agent course, right?
Yes.
And do you that also has the MCP involved in that over there?
Yes, yes. So we have, so that course is the real deal, like in terms of, the heavier version of this thing.
How long does it run?
6
I mean,
weeks.
how many? 6
6
weeks. And do you also cover some of the recent security vulnerability?
Oh,
We
yes.
were talking about MCP, like rug pull
Browser
or
use. Did you read about the
TPS?
Yes.
I read about tool poisoning attacks.
Yes. So we basically cover them because we build them for our customers, right? So we have to test them out in real time.
Okay.
So I've shared the link to the advanced course.
Okay.
You can Dan, last question, we'll call it.
Sure. You gave us a discount code before in the QR code. How long is that good for?
Till the course starts.
Oh, okay. So as long as we keep that link, we're okay, and we could.
Yes.
Okay.
No, it's only for 24 hours. If you lose, no, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Can you share it again? Because I have no idea. I have no access to that.
Oh, okay. Oh, I shared the QR. So basically, it's a QR code. You can use the QR code. Give me 1 second. I stopped sharing my screen. This is the QR code. So if you just put it on your phone, if you pull up your phone, it will just use that. If you're able to do that, that'd be great.
Yeah, 1 second. I'm taking a picture now.
Yeah.
It's also posted in the chat.
Yep. Thank you, Kurt. And yes, the code will be, it will be available. The recording will be available. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you for your time. This has been a great session. I'll try to do something again. I got emails that people were unable to join in because of limited capacity. I thought it was 500. Turns out it was just 100. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here, for your time. Thank you for your time. And please follow me on LinkedIn because I post a lot every day or every other day. And then we'll love to have you in this session. This is for non-technical folks. Like if you're technical, just have a conversation and we'll have a lot of fun in that. But if you're non-technical and you're trying to get your hands on, build workflows, do some vibe coding, this is definitely the course for you. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Bye.
Thank you.